Stuart, it's Big Al from South Africa. How are you, buddy?
Oh, how's it going, Al? It's been a long time since we spoke.
Long time. I just want to ask from a South African perspective, obviously you've had quite a few fights from the last time you were out here. What would you say has changed for you over these couple of years to where you are now?
I'll be honest, I've just got way more technical. I feel like, went back when I saw you, I was good then, but like, I took on some different perspectives in my training, and kind of my mind was blown open to new possibilities and things. So I've got way more technical in my game, and I think almost at points that like it actually became a little bit of a hindrance where I kind of started overthinking stuff. And I feel like now I've reached a point where I've kind of refined it. So I've kind of taken, like gaining 1,000 new tools, but not knowing how to use any of them, like, and kind of refine that down into a real game. I'm much more aware of what I want to do and how I want to execute what my game plan is.
You've obviously faced a possibility of a next opponent in Ferreira. If you had to face him, what do you think would be different this time around?
I'm not even worried about Ferreira right now. Straight up, like I've got last year's champ in front of me. He's a serious, he's a big old lump. He's been marching around the hotel, king of the room everywhere he walks in. And I just want to knock him off first. If I foresee me, if I fight Ferreira, I foresee it realistically it's probably going to be the final. And when all the beans are on the table, I'll have to show you on the night.
You're talking about that first matchup, obviously against the previous winner. What does it do for you, confidence-wise, to get through him first?
When I beat Bruno, like to be honest, it's not going to do anything for my confidence. Like I know I can beat him already. Like I know I'm ready. I've not come here to make up numbers. Like my last performance, it is what it is. It happens. It completely sucks. But like if I didn't believe I could beat everyone in this division, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here showing up. I'm not that sort of guy. I'm not here for a paycheck. If I wanted, I can just go back home. I start a business, make some real money. Like I'm here for the championship. That's what I'm here for. I want to make, take it home to my missus, let her see, try and pretend to be a big cool guy. But yeah, no, like it's. Having Bruno in the first round is an amazing opportunity because when I get him out of it, I'm hoping to finish him. If I finish him in the first round, that's a statement that, my last fight, was something that just happened. It is what it is. With all respect to Renan, he's an amazing fighter. But it's kind of, like there's no point worrying about the past. You got to look forwards and just improve and get better.
Last one from me, Stuart. Obviously a bit of a connection between South Africa, yourself, and the PFL with Don Madge last week. You've got a South African corner or coach helping you out from time to time. What is your message to South African fans tuning into PFL?
Oh, support me. Like I had great support when I fought in South Africa before. Like, you really got behind me, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere, and the people of South Africa are amazing to me. They're really lifted me up. And even now, I know when my fights get replayed out on SABC or whatever channel you're on now, just because I instantly get just a pop on social media again. I still get people messaging me about some of the old ones, and they're just they're a great audience. They're great fans, and I just I want to perform well to entertain them and entertain everybody. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, dude. Best of skills, and can't wait to get your hand raised there.
Cheers, Al.
Max.
How you doing, Stuart? This is Max going from the Going Live Network. Thank you so much for taking the time. Obviously, you got a pretty big fight here to start off the year. Obviously, Bruno's hands of kind of what got him to the finals and won the championship. What would you say in your mind you need to utilize, or what do you need to take away from his game in order to get this victory?
The biggest thing about this is just not playing his game. If I stand 3 feet away from him and swing at his head while he swings at mine, he's got a pretty good chance. But that said, he's been hurt before. He's been knocked out. He's not like some unbeatable monster. I feel like everyone in this division is a threat to everybody. You could match anyone up with anyone, and anyone's hand can get raised, you know, depending on the day. So for me, it's just like not playing his game, not standing in front of him, setting my feet and going toe to toe. I've got to fight smart. I've got to fight more technical, and I've got to take him out of his comfort zone.
And then one last one for me, obviously the point system in the PFL, there's a lot of fighters that say it doesn't really matter. It's just a fight. When it comes to your approach, are you looking at the points? Does it matter to you? How do you look at that?
To be honest, like my greatest concern is winning. Like if I beat the champion, whether it's the first round or the third round or a decision or whatever, like it's not too much of an issue. You know, if you knock the champion off, then you're kind of in a good position to move on till next year. Realistically, my fighting style, I tend to go in there, swing, go out there, you know, try and finish people. So like, you know, if I put him in my positions, there's a reasonable chance I'm going to finish him anyway. So like, I think sometimes as a fighter, you can get caught up in the idea of trying to knock somebody out. And I think it's kind of a bad trap to get stuck in. You know, if you're trying to finish the fight, that's often like when it's the hardest to actually get a finish. So you kind of got to let your hands fly, let your techniques do the talking, and all of a sudden people fall over and you sometimes surprise yourself.
No, I definitely understand that. Thank you so much for the time and good luck on Thursday.
Thanks, Max.
Jim Barcelone.
Yes, Jim with the Miami Herald. Thank you, Stuart. I'm curious, compared to last year especially, what has it been like travel-wise for you? And just, do you see some normalcy returning in that realm?
Travel this year has been obviously a lot easier. It's nice to, it's just things, it's silly things, you know, like testing is easier and cheaper, and there's not 1,500 people queuing outside the center. You know, the actual on the planes. Last year was a little bit eerie. You know, there weren't many people on the flights. It's a little bit creepy, kind of. And this year is kind of a bit more return to normal. Just generally, like being out here, it's so much easier when when we obviously were in the bubble last year. We're provided with food and you can order out and stuff, but it can be a little bit more difficult. You can't quite get what you always want, or not quite the same thing, and you kind of got to work around that. Whereas with this, it gives you a lot more freedom with your kind of diet and sometimes just some of the downtime. You know, it's nice to go. I went to go and see the JFK Memorial, and it's like if you come somewhere that's like got some serious history to it, like. It's nice to go and see things that are like bigger than fighting, you know, bigger than, you know, more important things in the world that like remind you that, you know, like at the end of this week, something crazy in my life is going to happen, you know, a crazy moment of, you know, some sort of chaos is going to ensue, but there's so much more. And it's nice to kind of be reminded of that when you go and see some of these things. Like we've done some awesome things. Like for me, the JFK was it's quite a poignant moment because it's such a historical, you know, like, you know, I live in a different continent and everybody knows what that is. And then something kind of a little bit more lighthearted and fun. We went to the rodeo and saw some proper Texas cowboys, you know, doing bull riding and bucking broncos, and, you know, like we saw kids chasing a little cow around. So it's like, it's nice to kind of see two different worlds. You know, you've got kind of the serious, like historical things, and then people just living their lives and having fun, having a good time.
Well, you mentioned the rodeo. Does that mean we might see you with a cowboy hat and lasso coming out to the fight?
Oh man, yeah, I've been, everybody from back home I've spoken to is like, have you got a cowboy hat yet? And I need to get one. I absolutely 100% need to get a cowboy hat. It's on my list of things to do. You know, I don't know if I can get a PFL branded one. You know, they've not given me one yet, so maybe someone's got to hit up the PFL to tell me, you know, when they're going to give out the cowboy hat sponsorships.
Hey, lastly from me, I'm curious too, because you mentioned about being entertaining, and you're in the heavyweight division. All the divisions are important. I know that, but the heavyweight division is such a very eye-popping, popular division, and you're a part of that. So obviously winning is number one, ultimate, of course. But how much is it also to having an entertaining fight, having a good battle, something that fans get into rather than just have it just be laissez-faire?
I think the thing for me is like heavyweights, you know, everyone talks about how they're less technical. And you know what they lack and this and that and how sloppy and what and messy they are and they're big fat guys and blah, blah, blah. And it's like at the end of the day, heavyweights hit the hardest. You know, we've got the meanest intentions. We fight with the least strategy. You know, we try and win by knockouts. You know, half of us haven't got gas tanks, so we're going for that first round. We're gunning for each other with mean intentions, and it's like. For all the you know, like the martial arts, all the, you know, the belts you can wrap around your waist, all the, you know, the respect and bowing and stuff, you know, this is about having a fist fight, and, you know, it's about hitting the other guy in the face, you know, and kicking someone in the head, and that's what people want to watch, you know, like even if, you know, like I've got no problem grappling as well. You know, if I get a chance, I'm going to pick him up by his legs and throw him on his head, you know, because that's what people want to see, and that's what heavyweights do. Heavyweights bring it. Don't get me wrong. There's probably a bunch of the guys in there who are, you know, 10 times more technical than me. They can do a spinning jump kick and a, you know, a ninja roll or some crap I don't even know what it is, you know. But I'm gonna put two of these on him. I'm gonna put two hands on him, and he's gonna try and put two on me, and that's what people want to watch. At the end of the day, boxing is so popular. If you watch the boxing at the weekend, it was 94,000 people in the Wembley Arena watching two British guys, you know, use just their hands, you know, and at the end of the day, people want violence. All the technique in the world, the heavyweights are the most interesting because we are the most violent, and that is what people want, and that's what I'm a part of, you know. That's what, like, that's why, you know, we put more points on getting a first round win, because it's, you know, like it shows you come out with aggression and excitement, and heavyweights do that the most. I'm excited to watch the other fights, you know. I love heavyweight fighting.
Well, thank you, Stuart. We'll look forward to watching those two Big Bens coming at them.
Boom.
Lorenzo.
Hi, Stuart. It's nice to talk with you. This is Lolo from Wilkiesburg Pod Network. Safe to say there's been a recent resurgence, if you will, right, of UK MMA. There's lots of exciting fighters in a variety of weight classes, both male and female. If you go out there this week and defeat last season's heavyweight champion in Bruno, how big of a jump do you think that would be to get your name elevated in that conversation, along with the rest of the talent coming out of UK and England?
Oh, it's huge for me. Like, it's absolutely massive. This is, you know, Bruno is a world-class fighter. He could be put in any division in the world, and he will be competitive with anyone in the world. And for me, you know, if I beat that guy, that means I've got to be up there as well. I've got to be considered. Right now, British MMA is, you know, an all-time high. And it feels like, I almost feel like personally, like every year on year, it just gets better and better. You know, the early guys like the super, you know, like the Ian Freemans of the days, you know, set the board by taking a win in some of the big shows, you know, and then they, you know, and they inspired the next generation. And then, you know, as it moved on gradually, you know, like Bisping just blew it open for us, you know, and eventually, you know, he had this crazy long career, and there, you know, there's dozens of fighters now who are like, we're kind of standing on those guys' shoulders. They held us up, and it's, you know, our generation, not only to boost ourselves up, but to boost the next guys, you know, who's, you know, like I have students, the gyms I coach at back home and train at back home. And like, you know, it's not just about me, like building my legacy. I think sometimes people can be quite selfish. It's about like pushing forward the next guys. You know, why wouldn't I want the UK to be the best country in the world? You know, like, and I think I can be a small part of that. That'd be cool.
And just building on your answer there, you talked about you pushing a lot of other fighters forward also. Besides yourself, then, do you have a favorite fighter in the UK right now that maybe most of us might not know their name or who they are?
It's funny because I'm not really a fan of the sport anymore. I kind of watch from more of a technical perspective and a learning perspective. But, you know, like there's so many British fighters who I'm excited to watch right now. Obviously, one of my teammates fought twice in the last month for PFL, Simeon Powell. He was an absolute monster. Like my cornerman, Mario Pinto, is young up and coming guy. He's going to be, you know, like in a year or 2 years, everybody's going to know who he is. I've got Luke Trainer, another monster I train with. Lou Sutherland, Lou from Sunderland. Sorry, he'll know what I'm talking about. He's a young knockout heavyweight who I think will be a really exciting addition to the PFL roster in the next few years. So like, I'm the biggest fan of the guys I work with and the guys I train with, and there's, you know, like I feel bad because you're never going to mention everybody, but there's so many guys at the moment. It's just a fun time to be a British fighter fan.
I appreciate that, Stuart. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck this week.
All right, last question. Curtis, please.
Hey, Stuart, this is Curtis Calhoun with MMAnews.com. My question for you is, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but just kind of looking at the heavyweight division, obviously a lot of tough guys like Bruno and yourself. What are your thoughts on the competition level you'll face this season at heavyweight?
The competition this season is stronger than it's ever been. Like I've been following the PFL since the first season, and by far this is the highest season I think in every weight division, to be honest. But I think that's the nature of sports. Things don't get easier. People watching Tyson Fury at the weekend, you know, comparing him to the heavyweight, to we wouldn't beat this guy from the 60s or 70s. And I'm like, no, he'd kill those guys. They wouldn't be competitive fights. Like he's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, he's more technical. Sports don't get worse, and MMA even more so because it's such a new sport. You know, year on year, like me today would destroy me from even 2 or 3 years ago. Like it's crazy. Like the progression. You see some of the top guys, like of a few years ago, and you kind of think, would that guy even be competitive now with that skill set? And for obvious reasons. And it's interesting because there's always a few guys who stand out from that crowd who like you kind of could put into a modern day, and they'll be very competitive. Some of the top guys. But like each year the PFL is getting stronger, and right now, like I look down the roster, and when I was speaking to my manager, you know, talking, who do we want to fight? Who, you know, what looks good for us? Like I was just like, you know, there's no easy fights here. There's absolutely none. So like in my mind, I wanted to fight the champ because I'm like, you know, if it's going to be a hard fight, you might as well get the big rewards for it. You know, you beat that guy, it's a big, it's kind of a big notch on your belt.